Hi everyone, welcome back to Simply Maha. Today we are making hareesah or basbous. It's an Arab style dessert that's made with semolina flour and coconut. It's doused with simple syrup and it has no eggs. I believe basbous is the type that does have eggs and flour, but correct me in the comments if I am wrong. So easy to make, minimal ingredients, and it doesn't have any eggs. Switch out the yogurt and milk for dairy-free options and you have yourself a vegan cake. You can add macadamia nuts, orange zest, some blueberries, and you can just make this into a so let's get started. Now we're actually going to start with the simple syrup by adding 1.5 cups of sugar to 2 cups of water along with a squeeze of lemon. Do not worry about the amount of sugar because the actual cake only has about 1 cup of sugar in it, so it's not going to be that bad at the end. You want to mix that and bring it up to a boil. Keep mixing it until the sugar dissolves. Like you see here, bring it up to a boil and then just turn it down. Now, for the dry ingredients, you are going to need 2 cups of semolina. All right, semolina flour. Do not go to the store and ask them where you can find some salmonella. Semolina, okay? Do not, because that's exactly what I did. Don't embarrass yourself like that. It's semolina, not salmonella. And then you're gonna add the 1 cup of sugar and 2 cups of shredded coconut. Try to use the ones that are not sweetened just because we are going to have quite a bit of sugar in there. Then 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch along with your salt and give that a good mix. You want to make sure that your dry ingredients are fully incorporated before you start adding your wet mixture because we just want everything to be mixing consistently. For your wet ingredients, you're gonna pour in 1 cup of yogurt. Try to use the regular full fat yogurt, okay? You really want that rich flavor in there. If you don't have yogurt, you can also use sour cream. I've also used the lebana in this and it worked perfectly fine. And then 1 cup of oil. I'm using olive oil because I like the color that it gives and the richness. You can use canola oil. Do not use butter or ghee because I find that just makes it way too dense. You're then going to add 2/3 of a cup of milk and some vanilla extract. And that is it. All you have to do is give it a nice mix and you're good to go. Notice how extremely simple this recipe is. Because it doesn't have any eggs, you can substitute the yogurt with coconut yogurt and the milk for almond milk, and you have a completely vegan cake here that is so nice and moist and easy to do. So just keep mixing. You want everything incorporated nicely. I have an 11-inch pan right here that I've just covered with tahini. That's how you traditionally do it. If you don't have that, you can just use regular butter or oil, any pan that you do have. You can use a 9 by 15-inch rectangle pan, but I like using this round one. Put everything in there. Now notice how mine is more on the liquidy side. Usually you would cut in your squares before putting it in the oven, but mine is too liquidy for me to do that, and I like it because it's going to give me such a light texture and consistency, and it's going to be super fluffy, more like a cake texture, which is what I like. So I just scatter some walnuts on there and then I top it off with some coconut. Don't go too much on the coconut because you don't want it to burn on the top. So after you finish prepping your cake, this is what your syrup should look like. It's been boiling for about 5 minutes, and I'm just gonna turn down the heat, turn it off completely until the cake stops baking. Now you're gonna put your cake in a 375-degree oven for about 35 to 45 minutes or until it's nicely browned. After it's nicely browned and it looks like this, you're going to take it from the bottom rack and put it on the top rack for about 5 minutes until it gets a nice deep golden color like you're about to see here. And thankfully none of the coconut shreds got way too dark, but this is exactly what you're looking for. And immediately after it comes out of the oven, you want to pour your simple syrup over it, and you want to focus primarily on the corners, and then whatever you have left, you put it on the center. Now this is gonna make the cake super moist and it's still gonna be fluffy. even though we didn't have any eggs, but we still used that tablespoon and a half of baking powder, and it's more of a cake-like texture. This is why I like this recipe of basbous or hareesah. I like it to be more liquidy than it to be more solid. So just mix that around, and you have to let this set for at least half an hour. After it sets, you just want to cut it up. I do a very horrible job of doing so. None of them are even, but design it with some edible flowers. Mine weren't, but I put them back. And then the easiest way to get it out of the pan is using a rubber spatula because it is flexible and you can maneuver it easily. See how fluffy it looks? It's a cake-like texture. Here, I'm gonna show you a close-up of it. And that simple syrup has absorbed very, very beautifully. You're gonna be eating out of this pan, okay? Forget a plate. That is how good this cake is. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time on Simply Maha, where we are simple but never basic.